There's certain things you wouldn't do because you've got that full nurture. You've got that firm hand even from your dad, that relationship with dad and father and son. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got that relationship, with mom and son as well. So you've had the perfect nesting of that relationship, even if I'm not saying it as perfect, but those two are there for you. And it's healthy versus someone who lacked that. They didn't have it growing up. Do you understand that that person essentially is trapped in an adult's body? Okay. Welcome back to Zoe Talks. Today's episode is a bit sentimental. We're going to be touching a very sensitive topic. We're going to be touching a very, very sensitive topic today, and we will be unpacking, having a discussion. Hopefully we don't cry, but we will be actually talking about mother wounds. So I know generally, typically, everyone knows of daddy issues, right? We've heard of that so many times. There's even utatako, there's shows being made about it, but no one actually talks about the adverse of the mother wound, because we all associate our mothers as these perfect, loving human beings that we all love. I mean, Mother's Day is the most celebrated in the whole world compared to Father's Day. That's just the reality, guys. So we have to touch this topic. Basically, this was brought about a book that was selected by my book club, one of the ladies in the book club. So there's a book that was written by a lady called Mushadidi, and it's basically, the title is The Girl Who Survived Her Mother.
Wow.
That is a heavy title.
Wow.
On set, survived her mother.
Wow.
Clearly it says there's trauma there and there's things that happen.
Yeah.
And I guess from that book, it made us think in our own lives as well, to assess your own relationship with your own mother. How is it and how do you feel about it? Because we don't often talk about such things. And so I think it is important for us today to really take the time to unpack what it also means, the terminology itself, because we're saying wound, but what are you wounded from, So technically, when I actually did research on this, it's basically talking about a relationship or lack thereof. So this could come from whether the relationship with your mom did not exist at all. Maybe she just wasn't there. Or if she wasn't there emotionally as well. Because you do find that you do have your mom, she's there, you're living with her, but the emotional part of it is disconnected. She just doesn't available. That nurturing part, because women basically naturally are nurturers so maybe she doesn't have that. You also find narcissistic women as well, like mothers who are they are the god. It's very rare, but there are narcissistic women out there and mothers who they play this victim role and everything is about them, forgetting that they need to mother. So basically that is the term of mother wound. Essentially, if you never had a mother, they were non-existent, or perhaps they were there but emotionally they were disconnected. Sometimes it could even extend to the emotional abuse as well. You find mothers who actually compete with their daughters. It's like they compete with their kids for things. It's like, you can't have this life.
And it's possible that maybe it's not even their fault, right? True,
because they also carrying their own burdens from yesteryear. This is generational, guys. You would find that she was also abused by someone in the family and not treated well by either her mother, her aunts. This whole matriarch system can be a bit toxic sometimes. We can be a bit not loving to each other. Therefore, the cycle goes on and on and on. So it's something to think about. So the lady, how she discovered that she had a wound. When you're growing up and as a child, there's small things that you're picking up, but you don't have the words to express and say, this is how I feel.
Okay.
And this is what you're doing to me. When you're young, you can't articulate properly. I'm party, or you did this. And maybe the voice is not even there to even vocalize, because as black people, we're not taught to speak.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So she grew up in a system where her mom was also abused previously by her own mother. There was lack of love from her mom, a grandmother to her mom. And so inevitably she was going to experience that either way. She was just brought up in an unfortunate environment and came from an unfortunate mother, if I may say so, because she never received the love. There was no protection, that sheltering as a baby. And we all, I think growing up, you look up to your mom and you expect a lot of things from your mom, that nurturing, that hugging, that assurance that you are great, you're gonna make it, even if no one else believes in you, but your mom has to be the one.
Affirmation.
Yeah, that affirmation. And if you're not getting it from that very same person who carried you for 9 months, you at least expect it, but it doesn't come. It becomes a problem later on.
How so?
My belief is that as people, we are made up, right, by our circumstances. We're made up by your upbringing, how you were raised and who raised you in your environment shapes you to a certain extent. Your way of thinking and a way of doing and speaking can be determined by the background. So the reason why I'm saying that it does shape you is that if you lack certain things in Lini, whether you were fortunate or not fortunate, right? It could be both of the world, where you had, let's say, both parents and you received love, everything was good. Those nice family, that Hollywood family that is just the perfect mom, the perfect dad, siblings, everything's going well. But it could be also the adverse of it, where you lacked and you didn't receive all of that and you didn't have all of that. That can turn you into a person, how you relationship, not necessarily a relationship of dating, but how you interact with normal human beings. You could come with very traumatized shortcomings, if I may say that. You could overcompensate when you're relationshiping with people. You find people that overgive because they think if I give, they're gonna accept me and they're gonna love me.
Yeah.
So if I give him this and I give him the attention, if in a dating setup I give him the attention and I give him the gifts, I give him everything all the time, you're always available. Yeah, you're overcompensating for something that you never had. And so if I give him this, surely he's gonna stay. There's no way he's gonna leave me. Even in relationships with other people as well, you just a giver. People suck you dry.
But now, is it fair to attribute that from not having uthando lukamama?
Yeah, absolutely. It's if you can carefully, and for the fact that we've had psychologists study this in later years when those kids become adults, you look at how they relationship with people. That's why I'm saying not even in a romantic setting. You can study that and put a room of women, men even fall under the category, who didn't receive love. The nuances are the same, like the behavioral patterns are the same, of how they are. It's the small things, I feel, that you don't think it's serious, but it's actually serious. So that's why I'm feeling that certain things can be attributed to that. And even this, I found it interesting as I was doing my research, right? There's also this part of having control issues and perfectionism. It can stem from that as well, because you feel that if I can control the situation, it can't go wrong. So if you're in control, it's much better. It works in your favor. It's much more safe if I know what I'm doing and I can control this person. And you'd find women who date men who they can control. So he needs to be a little bit too feminine, not too masculine. He definitely should not even be those alpha males, So
now it sounds like this is fundamental perfect. I don't know if that's even possible. And equally,
Not really even perfect, hey?
Okay, let's say maybe I grew up in a household, Mamu Kwan, Mamu Yang Tanda.
Yes.
So does that mean I'll grow up to a personal right in the society?
You are at an advantage to a certain point. There's certain things that you have had that you will not lack. Your emotionally you will not lack. There's certain things you wouldn't do because you've got that full nurture, you've got that firm hand even from your dad, that relationship with dad and father and son. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got that relationship with mom and son as well. So you've had the perfect nesting of that relationship. You know, even if I'm not saying it as perfect, but those two are there for you and it's healthy. Versus someone who lacked that, they didn't have it growing up. Do you understand that that person essentially is trapped in an adult's body, but they are still a child at heart, yearning for that approval from their mom? You know, it's a constant cycle of chasing something that you don't know. You find adults being like, I need my mom to approve this and that. They're old, but because that inner child that needs to be fed, you know, that's the problem.
Have you gotten that from a partner?
Relationship-wise, I would say no, but I would also come back to saying I picked it up on myself as well.
Okay.
I picked it up on myself.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like the book really, it was a very personal, touching one for me. That I had to. It was just heavy when I saw the title. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry when I read this book. It's just gonna evoke a lot of emotions. I think with my own mother as well, and therefore that's why I mean to when it's so important to also assess yourself as a person. There's certain things, like I'm saying the controlling thing now. I actually, those attributes, they speak to me. The controlling part for me, I prefer a relationship that I can, you know, control. Yeah, it's safer that way, because then I'm not gonna get hurt if I'm in the driver's seat. You know, I know what to expect. You get what I'm saying? Unlike surprises and I like a safe space. I like predictability. Let me put it that way.
So it's still that way. Not much.
I'm trying to change and trying to grow out of that. I actually took up therapy. This was 2 years back when I was it 2? Yeah, when I was turning 30.
Yeah.
For me, the year of 30 was very defining.
Sure.
I had to sit down with my big girl panties and deal with the nonsense of my own childhood. As unnice as it was, but I had to sit down and be realistic with myself, because I didn't want to go through, bring another person or partner into me and introducing them to me, whilst maybe I'm still not 100%. And even for myself, more than anything, to be okay, you know, with my inner demons and things that I'm constantly fighting. So I wanted to be a better version of myself rather, and my future kids. And that's why I'm saying to you that I didn't want to, should ever I decide to have kids, I don't want to parent from a wounded place. Because when you parent from a wounded place, you don't know that you're wounded and you don't see it.
Yeah.
And there's no parent or mother out there that would you know, hurt their kids intentionally. So it's indirect, it's in those subtle things. For instance, with girls, if your mom doesn't tell you you're beautiful and pretty enough and instill it in you, you're gonna have a lot of issues, you know. The confidence, the self-esteem is gonna be low. And I feel like it's your mom's duty and job, and that whole thing, it comes with it, that whole package of being a mother. You need to be able to instill that in your baby girl. With, look, you're beautiful, or your son, you are handsome. There's no one like you. And so if that does not come, you're going to be lacking of a person. I feel like you're going to have a lot of stuff to deal with than the regular folk out there that is dealing with their normal problems. Yours is going to be 10 times more. Even people that deal with you, you know, it's just going to be quite difficult to interact in the real world with people. And if you're not aware of you as well, it's something else to
now let me ask first. I'm curious now, by the way. So are you telling me, Uchi, or do you have hope which you can ever be okay, be right, and maybe get rid of those toxic traits? Can you ever get to that point?
That's a very good question. I think I can only hope to get to that point, to be quite honest. I can only hope to get to that point because at some point I want to be free from that pain. I want to be free from overthinking, and I want to be free from the questions that I have in my mind. So I can only hope. And at the same time, I think through constant working on myself and parenting myself, essentially, I think you're going to have to do it, because I don't think there's any mother in the world that can come to you. To some extent, there are some who would never say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you're going to wait for her to come to you and say, hey, look, I messed up 1, 2, and 3. I know I was not there, and I know I didn't do this. I wasn't perfect. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they deflect, and 9 times out of 10, they're very, they will kind of, put an arm on themselves or defend themselves in there. They're very defensive. It's like, no, you're not grateful. I gave you X, Y, and Z. You're not grateful. I gave up my life. Yeah. Or I gave up the dreams that I had, for you. 9 times out of 10, we hear that in African families all the time. We would say, Kulisa, this is what I've done for you.
Yeah.
As
now
if,
you don't appreciate it.
as if you don't appreciate it. And that's not even the case. We don't hold them to account.
First and foremost.
Yeah, we never hold them into account. It's like, no, whatever you do.
But you're an African child. How can you make your parent account for something?
Exactly.
Like, what's wrong with you?
You see, that's the thing.
Disrespect.
How dare you?
Yeah.
In my house.
Obviously, you can't do that.
I think that is why it is important for us to, this whole podcast, I think, is for us to unpack and have those conversations, as uncomfortable as it is. And not that we're trying to make ourselves a different race, color, or white.
Yeah.
But we need to start thinking and moving in a different way. And healing as well. Because, like I said, this thing is generational. If you don't deal with this now, and you're like, no, I'll sweep it under the rug, and and 10 years later it comes back, for instance, and you said something, I snapped, maybe, you said something about, why grass or tugana. Maybe and that's the only language I know and how to communicate with you if I'm angry,
Sure.
So yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's personal.
Baby.
Can I do it?
Shoot.
So, what's your biggest scar?
Biggest scar?
Yeah, it makes you a parent.
Me parenting or from my parents?
From your parent.
Yo!
Biggest.
To be quite honest, the biggest one is abandonment. I don't want to lie. So my mom, she I don't want to say remarried, but she got married. Yeah. Well, she had me when she was young. Typical Gasi story. Had me when she was young, got raised by my grandparents, and she left the country.
Okay.
Yeah. So me getting into primary school, she wasn't there. To understand those milestones, you're going to school, you're doing this. So the biggest for me is definitely abandonment. Those that till this day, I don't think it's something that I can get over. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me personally. That's why I'm like, how do you do that?
Will you ever abandon someone or a child?
I would never do that.
So, reason why I'm asking that is because already that scar had made sure which you'll never do.
Yes.
Can't you see that as a positive thing?
It is.
Out of that.
Definitely. You know what? I feel sometimes any mother wound or any wound that you have, and specifically because we are talking about mother wound, could be a blessing and a curse. And sometimes it is a good thing because you thread carefully and you know what to do. You don't want whatever was done to you to repeat again, so you're a bit cautious then. But you find those people who just don't care, but at the same time there's a flip side to it. I feel like sometimes there's a sort of delay that you put on your life because you're so scared of if I start becoming a parent, oh my god, am I going to do it right or not? You are walking on eggshells. You're cautious with everything because you want to get it right. you want to be a perfect parent, and unfortunately there isn't a perfect parent.
Yeah,
but you can never be like, oh, I'm the best mom.
But I know.
Yeah.
I snap like crazy.
See.
I'm sometimes frustrated by things out there.
You just lose it. So, but apparently they say it's different when it's your own child, allegedly. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. But also, I think the biggest thing was to acknowledge when you have done wrong.
True.
And be a bigger person and going there and saying,
that's
no,
it.
Ask keys.
I'm sorry.
Till this day, I can't remember a day something gave me. Then I said, or then they said, I ask keys, bro. And I'm now fine about it. I don't think I ever have that.
I think we're so used to vele ukuthi but police vele, and so I'm sure that this thing ukuthi umuntu omdala akaqamba manga uyaphosisa.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a terminology for everything. So why would they apologize?
Because they can't be wrong.
They can't be wrong. I mean, an adult, I know what I'm doing. So therefore
I know way better than you.
Yeah, and it's being dismissive of children as well, forgetting that they are human beings.
You consider yourself an adult now, don't you?
Yeah. Well, do I have a choice, guys? I feel like I'm a child at heart. No, I'm a child at heart. I really am a child at heart. But yes, I'm an adult. Go home affairs. They consider me as an adult.
And you would accept someone who called accountable if you are doing something wrong.
Call me out. As hard and as painful as it might be to hear your own shortcomings, and from umuntu ukuthi you didn't do right, you said this and it offended me, like, oh, it's not nice to hear anything negative about yourself. I don't know anyone that likes criticism like that, but personally I don't. But I would appreciate for someone to say, hey, look, this is what you did to me, you hurt me, and for me to apologize and say I'm sorry, because I think I would want for my kids to know that if you've been hurt and someone did something wrong to you, the best way and to handle that situation is to apologize and receive your I'm sorry, and also voice out as well and talk if there's something wrong, because we've been silenced. You just keep quiet and keep it moving. You don't ask, you don't do anything,
but it's not the same with guys, eh?
You think so?
I know so.
Okay, tell me.
I don't have to
tell me a bit
more then. All the time. Imagine we fight, and then after we have to sit down and talk, and we talk like this.
How did you make you feel?
Nah, man, we can't be doing that. Maybe we can. I'm doing hard luck, sure. And that's it.
And that's the apology. He knows that you also apologize.
Yeah, no.
You don't even have to.
And that's it.
Okay, well, that's a bit different. We like talking and back. Why did you say that?
Yeah.
So, with women, I think it's a bit different.
So, would you say, as the title says,
the title of the book?
Yeah.
It's The Girl Who Survived Her Mother.
Then, how much is that they don't fall under that or they don't suffer from that as much as women?
I won't say they don't suffer. They do,
right?
As much. I would say for women it's a bit more, because you are a lady, and to the journey and transition of being an adult and being a woman, the only person that can teach you this and journey with you, it's your mom or a female figure for that instance, but your mom ideally is the person that's supposed to walk with you, through your upbringing. She needs to walk with you, and it's difficult later on, because then you don't know how to relationship properly with females. Your relationship with females is a bit toxic. Some of them you envy them. You can't keep a healthy sisterhood, a healthy female friendship where there's love and we care for each other. You can't do that because you never got that. How do you practice something that you don't know? So the only thing that you could most likely do, either you distance yourself. I found those girls that they want to share and be friends with ladies, but they keep you at bay. Because probably afraid that you're gonna hurt them or backstab them. So they don't give full in. It's like just a foot at the door, just enough, just to see. And you find those who are then envious of you, of your achievements. They're friends where you can't celebrate yourself, your winnings, where they just get envious. It's like for no particular reason.
No one wants a girlfriend that's tough.
No one does.
Nothing not.
No.
We want a softer woman.
We need to be on your feminine energy.
Yeah, that's
feminine
more
energy.
attractive
It's
than.
so attractive to me.
But now the world does not require the same thing from a guy.
True.
So I think from that alone, it boyas when it's okay. We can't be raised the same
Yeah.
way. For me, it's okay to be tough.
Yeah.
Because the world outside requires me to be tough. But for a woman, then it's different.
It's different.
We need you at your soft girl era.
Yes, the soft girl era. Guys are so sick and tired of hearing. I've heard guys who are like, if I can say a woman says to me, soft girl era, I'm gone. Guys, really? We don't like the struggle. We definitely don't like the struggle. But no, man, I really could say I think men also do get affected from a mother wound, because one thing about, if you have noticed boys and their moms, that relationship.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I know.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Exactly. So they also need it as much as women do.
Okay.
They will also need it as much as the girl child does, you know, because then they grow up. Some of them even grow up hating women.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, from that neglect or lack thereof. Ungazi umuntu ukuthi hayibo sikwenzeni kanti isuka lapha, they can't just express it, they just hate you. It's like,
yeah,
you know.
I'm thinking, right, I can't understand your softness from my hardness, but I can somewhat understand your softness from my feminine side.
Yeah.
So if I have a taste of that, maybe
Yes.
yeah, I have a
You get
relationship
it.
with my mom. Months ago, I just get it. I know when you cry, I don't get frustrated.
Listen.
Months I don't. You don't stress me out. I just
They
I
even
need
know
it
how
up.
to treat you.
Yeah,
Because you
true.
know it from mentioning when she's had a hard day, you know how to deal with her feminine side and soft side and take care of her, or maybe she wants her feet put up, those small things, you know. But if you've never gotten that and you never had that and you don't know how to treat a woman properly, you know, the small things that mama and you're never going to get it and understand it from a man's perspective, and you're never going to know how to treat women in general, not let alone your woman, but just women in general. Then how do you raise your daughter if you're a man, if you never got that softer side, you know?
Yeah.
It trickles on, man. It's just like generational effect.
Yeah, true. Now, we can't leave it at that.
Yes.
Let's say you grew up being hard as a woman.
Yeah.
So where to from now? Yes, I understand which you have developed those traumas. Your mother has abandoned you.
Yeah.
But now, where to from now? How can you make sure which at least you become a better person or a better version of yourself? How do you become soft? How do you become a nurturer?
Yeah.
How do you become a mom? How do you then develop how to love?
Yeah.
Even though you were never loved. But how can you do that? I mean, I know but how can you work that out from a female aspect?
Yeah, that is such a important and deep question. You know, even from the book, or the lady Mushiteri, she grew up having to be tough.
Yeah.
She had no choice. The circumstances and situation around the house did not allow her to have the soft girl era from a young age. There was no princess treatment. You know, when little girls are around, they treat her, you can see that this one, she's in a soft era. She never had that.
Yeah.
You know, and all she knew was to be this hard girl, fighting, you know, for everything that she wanted. Even at varsity, when everything was just a struggle, and she had to be a man, basically, you know. And I would say, to regain that feminine era, you would first have to be aware, actually, that you have a lot that you're dealing with. Yeah. You have had a lot of hardship that you went through. You're so used to being masculine, it's not even funny now. You know, having to do things by yourself, having to be your own person that you count on, and you don't know how it is to be taken care of. I think you'd first need to definitely understand that, look, this is what you were dealt with, but it's not a hopeless journey.
Yeah.
You know, there's still hope.
Yeah.
You can unlearn certain things.
Yeah.
And undo those habits, and if you are willing to do so and allow the process to take its place. I would say, to be quite honest, firstly start with therapy more than anything. And I know that in South Africa, therapy is just such an expensive process to go through from a private perspective. But I am sure that there's government facilities that do actually offer free psychologists, that you can talk to and unpack, because you need to talk and voice out whatever inner demons are in you that you are fighting. And also having, I think, regrouping your friends, the people that you surround yourself with, the girls that you have people that will allow you to live in your soft girl era. Have people that will tell you it's okay if you're not okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay if you're having a bad day, It's okay that you didn't get this, because we're so dead set on getting things right, of having this tough shoulder. I should be superwoman. Everything should definitely go, accordingly. But I could say definitely work on yourself, have a support system, and love yourself. Take care of yourself and nurse yourself. Do things that make you happy and discover yourself more than anything, what it is that you like. And allow people to also nurture you and pour into you, and stop being this tough cookie, because you're not. That's the only way to unlearn these things. To be in your soft girl era, be feminine, be relaxed. Being feminine is being relaxed sometimes. You don't know how to relax. Want to overthink. And men are solutionists. They come up with solutions. There are women out there who are operating like, no, I need to think. No. If your partner wants to do it, let him. When you just fold your hands and sit back and relax, listen, and be a princess and be a queen, So it's definitely unlearning, doing feminine things, and just having a great support system that allows you to be that. And not having to force you to make decisions, and not just a boardroom mind, you need to be calling the shots. No.
So I agree with everything you're saying, and I think those things can definitely work. Here's a perspective as well. I'm a Christian, right?
Okay.
And I cannot talk about that because that's who I am. So how then do we, let me think about it, God. How then do we know Ututando Yini if we've never experienced it? So for me, it's rather simple. We can easily trace that to Christ.
Yes.
And the more you see Christ and understand He loves you, and understand what He does for a people that He loves, then you can easily get to know exactly what that is. Because if He says, I can turn back and go look for one what? What's the cow?
One sheep. And leave the 99.
Then you understand as a person with, okay,
He loves me.
He loves me. So that's what love is. Then I'm able to pinpoint those things and say, okay, if my husband maybe we because he's not perfect, but I can easily forgive him. Can easily say, this dude, we are better, but I love them. But you're taking it from Christ, and I think He's the better. A better mirror we can look at
of love,
of what love is, and develop that thing.
Totally agree. I totally agree. He teaches us to love as well. In the Bible, it's there. There's so many examples. And I think if you don't carefully look into your own life, what love is, there are moments in your own life where you see this was not a person's doing. Clearly someone's in charge, and I think God in Himself can teach you how to love. If you don't know how to love, He can teach you how to love. He definitely can teach you how to love. It needs to start with Him. It needs to translate to you. Then when you get it and you have it,
and that's the truest
you can
love,
spread it. Yes, that's the truest form of love ever to exist. There is no one in the world that could love you like Christ does. No one. Not even your own parents.
The lover of your soul.
Yes, because even our own people have their own shortcomings, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
People will disappoint you as well, and they will hurt you.
Yeah.
Time and time again. Not once, not twice. In this lifetime, many times. So you can't even count. It's like, oh gosh. But he himself, he definitely doesn't disappoint. I think it's one person you can count on who's consistent. Baba's consistent love.
So you can definitely redo those, maybe change those traumas into something beautiful.
He heals traumas as well.
Okay.
He heals traumas as well. Besides counseling, you need to pray also over the feelings that you have, the questions that you have, the uncertainty, and the things maybe that you were fed growing up. Whether they
That's unlearning. Right?
Yes, you need to unlearn those things and tell yourself you're beautiful because he made you in his own
he
image.
tells you, right?
Exactly. He tells you. He tells you. So you need to give yourself that permission every day, even if you have to say it every day to yourself and have those words of affirmation that you say to yourself until you believe it, until you know it. And someone else can come to you and tell you, and you're like, no, actually I'm not, with confidence. Yeah, good to know, I'm not. So
it's not a hopeless thing.
It is absolutely not a hopeless thing. This is a journey, unfortunately, that you have to be willing to take. And I think the more of us, the faster we get onto the road and start, it'll be better, because then you're saving even other people as well, because we wound other people as well. That we live with, you know. The lady in the book, she says she was dating a guy, and this guy was the most gentle guy. There was nothing wrong with the partners actually that she was dating.
Yeah.
She realized, Uti, I am the problem.
Yeah.
The problem. So one time they were having an argument, and she used to spew amakama, snacks, and swear every time they had an argument, to the point where this guy started creating a list of the words that she was saying to him. Had a list.
Yeah.
So he takes it out this one time. Yeah. He takes out the list. He said, look, what am I looking at? These are all the things that you were saying to me every time we argued. These are the mean things that you were saying to me. It's a long list. She was shocked. She choked up. She couldn't even read it, because when you read the own things that you've been saying to this person,
you realize, I'm so toxic.
I am toxic. Exactly. That's why they hate her. I'm very toxic. Very, very toxic. So the healing is not only for yourself, but even for the ones around you. Because if you can't treat people well, and if you can't relationship healthy in a healthy manner, and you need to, but in the emotional intelligence, you need to also be self-aware as well.
Yeah. In
your own things, and know that but if you're not aware of the things that you're doing, you're gonna keep doing them and repeating them,
and people will leave your ass.
Exactly. And if you don't have people who will correct you and say, you know, and they just let you be, you're never going to grow. You're never going to come out of the cycle. It's just going to be continual. And we don't want that. We want to grow. We want to be great women in this country, and a sisterhood more than anything, and helping each other. And so with that being said, I would say to anyone that is dealing with a mother wound, start the journey of healing. Also, I think if possible, if your mother's still there, unpack as well with her if she's willing to listen. If not, it's also okay. You can also repair it yourself, but definitely try to work on that so that you're okay and you heal for yourself and you become a better version of yourself.
And
more than
create
anything.
A sisterhood.
Create a sisterhood. There are cool girls and fun girls out there. Yes, create a sisterhood with me, please. You can definitely subscribe, yes, to the channel, guys. We would love that, to interact with you, share your experiences. We can even create a small community there in the comment section where you guys are healing, encouraging each other. Maybe one day we probably might meet up and just kumbaya over this. But up until the next time we do see you guys, you shall love you and leave you. And I hope you did enjoy this episode, and tell your friends and your friends and your families, uncles, aunts, everybody to subscribe, to stay tuned in for the next episode. We do love you, and we'll see you on the next one.